Shalom. Shalom to the wall. Glory and praise on glorification to YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. I'm Barak YAHAWAH, Barak RAWCHAA. YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, QADASH. And of course, giving all praise on glorification to YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. And of course, in tomorrow says about to give Melson teacher well. And this dude, Elder Mike, don't know scripture. No, he's lost, a lost soul. No, a dummy. No, he don't know what's going on in these scriptures. And he talking about how Esau, when scriptures talk about Esau, he's talking about the enemies of Israel in general. Well, not the enemies of Israel, enemies of God in general, whatever. No? Which is dumb, like I said. Because only a dummy will believe it, because there is no proof on that. So let's play this real quick.
Trust me, that's the only way I know how to talk. Anyway, let me break it out. So throughout the text, then, because Esau is Jacob's enemy and his arch enemy, oftentimes the prophets will refer to Edom. They're using that term in general to refer to the enemy nations. And so when it says Jacob is the end of the world, in that context, my brother, Edom is used in relation to all the enemy nations. But you have to understand it. See, you need more than King James to understand this. You actually kind of got to study historical context and Hebraic culture. Anybody take the Hebraic culture class?
There's no proof on that. Now, he is spouting that nonsense. Oh, it's Hebraic culture that Esau just referred to. No. When the Lord speaks in the Bible, no, because fuck what these scholars have to say, or what they think is talking about anyway. But anyway, in the Bible, when the Lord talks about a Pacific nation, he calls them by said Pacific nation, okay? When the Lord talks about Esau, he's talking about Esau. The Lord's talking about Elam or Moab or Ishmael or fucking Assyria. He uses that name. Now, the only times where used spiritually is Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19. We're talking about Egypt because that's another thing too. You had to go into it and understand these scriptures, man. Because some things haven't been fulfilled when talk about different nations, like Babylon, for instance. You know, some like Jeremiah 50 talks about Babylon, but we know at the end of the day, not really talking about Babylon, because those things didn't get fulfilled with ancient Babylon. While Isaiah 19 was Egypt. We know that this place is spiritually called Simon, Egypt, so we know those things, because those are in the scriptures, and we can prove that in the scriptures. No, we can prove these things in the scriptures. He just making that shit up, man. And let's prove that he's making that shit up, okay? Oh, we're talking about Esau. Because this dude said that we're talking about Esau, talking about in general. Well, let's get some prophecies about Pacific nations that the Lord talked about. The Lord calls out Pacific nations, like right here. Jeremiah 49:1. Concerning the Ammonites, thus saith Yahawah, have Israel no sons, having no hair, when then do their king inherit Yahawah and his people dwell in the seas. But the main point right there that he's talking to the Ammonites. Now let's skip down. Verse 7, concerning Edom. So the Lord's calling out Pacific nations here. Now giving them their judgment. Now, concerning Edom, thus saith Yahawah of hosts, his wisdom no more teeming, his counsel perished from the prudent, his wisdom vanished. No? And we can see right now that their wisdom had vanished, man. No, their wisdom had vanished, man. No, they're unprudent. They don't know what the hell's going on right now. Okay? No, they don't have a clue or damn idea what the hell's going on. No? But that's talking about Edom. Now let's go down even further. Verse 23. Concerning Damascus. Hamath is confounded Arpad, for they have heard evil tidings. They are faint-hearted. There is sorrow on the sea, and it cannot be quieted. No, so this is talking about Damascus or Syria. Right here. No, so the Lord calls out Pacific nations and give them their punishment. Let's get another scripture. about Esau. Now, so Lord, when the Lord speaks about a specific nation, he uses their name. No, he uses that nation's name. But we're talking about Moab, we're talking about Moab. We're talking about Ammon, talking about Ammon. You know? Now, of course, again, you got those special terms, special times, like talking about Egypt or Babylon. But those are cities. By that attitude, they're cities. They're not even nations specifically. Yeah, nations live there, but they're not talking about the people in the land. Okay? They're talking about the city or the place. You know, for those times. Okay? But Ezekiel 36:5, therefore thus saith Yahawah power, surely the fire of my jealousy has spoken against the residue of the heathen, so talking about the heathen nations, and against all Idumeans. So we're talking about the heathen and all Idumeans. Two different things. No? Which I have poured in my land to their possession, Esau. With the joy of their heart, with the and with the spiteful minds, they cast it out for a prey. But that's exactly what they did, man. Now they conquered our land, took it over. Now what they got those small hats in our land right now, called them ruckus. No? No? No, so when the Lord, again, there's a different time the Lord talks about a specific nation, the Lord uses that name. No, of that nation, man. No? And only had that spirit to understand these things, man. They'll go into the historic. Yeah, we go into history. But this dude talking about Hebraic context. No? Once again, he pulling out that bullshit. If that was the case, that would be used in the scriptures. It would be real obvious in the scriptures that was the case. But it's not. Because it's not the case. The Lord don't use it in that matter. They're not using that matter at all. No? The most he probably got is some goddamn Christian scholar who pulled up some bullshit. No? Other than that, no, it ain't true, man. No, because it will be used in the Bible. But as you can see clearly, it's not at all. No? No? In fact, this dude talked about going to different versions. No, let's go into a different version of Obadiah real quick. No? Because this dude talked about using different versions and shit. Oh, you can't just stick to the KJV. So let's not go to the KJV. Let's go to the NLT real quick of Obadiah. No, because Obadiah goes on into Esau. So let's go into it real quick. Obadiah 1, and start verse 6. This is the vision that the sovereign Lord Yahawah revealed unto Obadiah concerning the land of Edom. We have heard a message from Yahawah, the ambassador from Yahawah. So the ambassador is sent to the nations to say everyone. Sorry, the ambassador was sent to the nations to say, "Get ready, everyone. Let's assemble our armies and attack Edom." Now, according to this guy, according to this dude, oh, that's just talking about the heathen nations in general, the enemy nations in general. So there's gonna be this big war between the friendly nations and the enemy nations. Come on, you gotta use your brain, man. Like, for real, you gotta use your brain, man. You gotta use your big noggin in your head. Well, not really that big, because clearly it's not that big if you think it like this. Now, you think that it's talking about everyone in general. No, but you gotta use your brain, man. Brain cells for something good. You know, gotta unlock that pineal gland, you know? Verse 2. Yahawah says to Edom, I will cut you down to size among the nations. You will be greatly despised, so among all the nations. Sorry. Among all the nations, the Lord got cut down Esau, Edom. Those so-called white men, man. The Lord doing that right now with these birth rates. But these Edomites can feel it, man. They can feel clearly that their birth rates are going down. No, they're not being as fruitful, fertile as they used to be. No, they're being made small among the heathen. No, and they're upset. Especially these right-wing demons, especially those guys. They're upset, man. You know, they're upset. That they're being made low and only being depopulated by the mid. You know? Good day coming up. You know? Reading on, you have been deceived by your own pride, because you live in a rock fortress and make your home high in the mountains. Who can ever reach us way up here? You both, well, you ask boastfully. No, no. And you see now with these skyscrapers, man. Because that's the thing that Esau loves, these skyscrapers, man. They'll build them to go all the way to the sky. No, no. Above everybody. That's why they love these high ass hotels and shit like that. No, they love that stuff, man. You know? But even as ye soar as high as an eagle and build your nests among the stars, which they do with the satellites, you know? They have space stations and all that stuff. It goes to show you that they're the Edomites, man. What nation boasts about going to the moon? No, now they're saying they went around the moon and shit. What nation boasts about that the most? Esau. No? So they plant the flag on the moon and shit. Which is some bullshit. Because the moon is the light itself. Like the sun. No? You can't land on the moon, man. No? Anywho, I'll bring you crashing down, says Yahawah. No? And that's what the Lord got to do, man. The Lord got to bring you crashing down, man. No? Devastate your ass, man. No? So let's skip down over here. Verse 10, because of the violence you did to your close relatives in Israel, you will be filled with shame and destroyed forever. When they were invaded, you stood aloft, refusing to help them. Foreign invaders carried off their wealth and cast lots to divide up Jerusalem, but you acted like one of Israel's enemies. No? You should not have gloated when they have exiled your relatives to distant lands. You should not rejoice when the people of Judah suffered such misfortune. Now that's talking about when the Babylonians came and took us over. No? When the people of Judah suffered such misfortune, you should not have spoken arrogantly in that time of trouble. Now you should not have plundered the land of Israel when they were suffering such calamity. You should not have gloated over their destruction when they were suffering such calamity. You should not have seized their wealth when they were suffering such calamities. You should not have stood at the crossroads killing those that have tried to escape. You should not have captured the survivors and hand them over in the time of trouble. No? So they shouldn't have done that shit. But they did. Because they're the fucking devil. They're Edomites. No? So let me skip down here. Verse 18. The people of Israel will be a raging fire, and Edom a field of dry stubble. The descendants of Joseph will be a flame, roaring across the field, destroying everything. There will be no survivor in Edom, says Yahawah. I have spoken. No? It's like, but that basically main point. Going to the other side, closing on praises Yahawah, Shemel Shai, Hashem QADASH, and Shalom.